Today, we're talking about what we learned from the men's basketball Big Ten Media Days, and then we have another 2024 commit interview with quarterback Drake Lindsey.
You are Locked On Golden Gophers.
No matter what we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
Your daily podcast on the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
However it turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
Listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Now, it's the Gophers football bye week, so we're getting some coverage in for these other Gophers programs as well. Yesterday, we talked about the women's basketball team, the excitement we have growing there, and some maybe expectations as we move into the season. Today, we're talking about the men's basketball team and what we learned from the Big Ten Media Days. And then we have another 2024 commit interview with quarterback Drake Lindsey from Arkansas. So you're not going to want to miss that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any future videos going forward, including another 2024 commit interview tomorrow. So you're going to want to stay tapped in for that. But let's dive in. Let's talk about some Gophers men's basketball. And with the media day yesterday, you learned this team and this conference, this entire Big Ten conference, is going to be scrappy. As it is every year, it's a physical game, a physical league, and this is going to be another scrappy year where a lot of the teams could be fighting and clawing each other in the middle of the conference. Now, that being said, Purdue and Michigan State really probably take the lead when it comes to expectations for this year, and probably by a wide margin. But after them, there's still a lot of questions. And last year, we saw a huge chunk of teams within a few games of each other and scrapping and kicking each other out of the NCAA tournament and getting a few late seeds in there as well. But the Gophers were not one of those teams. Can they take a leap in the right direction? Can they be in that middling mix? That would be a step of improvement from these past 2 years, and it would be a big step up in the right direction, to say the least. Now, representing Minnesota at these Big Ten Media Days was head coach Ben Johnson, along with junior Dawson Garcia and sophomore Pharrel Payne. Now, we already knew this team would have a huge focus on Dawson Garcia. We saw he was our team's leading scorer last year. I believe he was our leading rebounder last year. He was on the verge of making a potential Big Ten team. He is a preseason Big Ten team selection, so you know that he is going to be involved. We already knew that going in. And people have talked about Pharrel Payne being a main focus piece, and they've assumed that he would be there, but I would say his inclusion into these media days definitely shows maybe that he is one of the focus points, one of the higher expectations of the group in this squad. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, I asked Gophers head coach Ben Johnson just what his expectations were for Pharrel in his sophomore season, and a year that many anticipate a year to leap. And here is what Coach Ben Johnson had to say.
No, I've really high expectations of Pharrel. You know, I think, again, last year there were a number of times when I told him, like, it's not going to get harder than it is right now. You know, to go against the likes of Hunter Dickinson and Edie, Stephen Kroll, you know, you can go down the line. As a true freshman, as an 18-year-old on a young team, it's only going up from where he was at. And so I think he needs to have confidence in that. And to get the experience that he got, to be thrown to the fire, I think that's the best teacher. He's not a typical sophomore like the other two guys in Braden and Josh. And again, I think there's a confidence with that. He walks around, you know, with a certain type of aura to him, that the anxiety's gone because he knows what it is. And so because of that, he does have an expectation. And the main thing is just to be able to compete. You know, when you're able to go through it like he was last year, you understand how hard you have to play every single day, how hard you have to play and practice every single day, and how you have to prepare conditioning in the weight room, nutrition, you know, film, on and on and on. you can talk about it as much as you want, but unless a kid goes through it, sometimes they don't really feel it. And fortunately enough, he's one of the guys that went through it, and so he understands it, and there's an urgency to him. And so I'm just really excited for him, and to see where he could take his game this year.
Now, Coach Ben Johnson also mentioned how this will be the first time in Dawson Garcia's collegiate career, that he will have the same head coach for back-to-back seasons. So hopefully that will allow him to play more free and even with more confidence and have a huge junior season for them. So I'm excited by that in its own right. But one thing that we learned, and we had talked about on this very show 2 weeks ago when we did our basketball preview, was that the posts are always going to be involved in this offense. There's going to be post touches. Now, everything might not funnel into the down low and the blocks of the post, but whether it's in the blocks, whether it's at the top of the key, wherever, at the free throw line, there is going to be a post touch with this offense, and getting them involved and getting them incorporated and getting the screen and roll going. Post game is going to be everything. And that showed with these two players that Minnesota brought in. They had mentioned that there's going to be post touches. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot more physicality with this team. So overall, I'm excited to see how much of a shift we see into the new year. Now, Dawson Garcia, like I said, was given a preseason All Big Ten selection, but when it comes to the focus on this year's team, it sounds like Coach Johnson is going to be going a little bit deeper into his bench for the upcoming season. Now, Gophers fans have consistently asked, why do we only run like 7 players? Why don't we go deeper onto our bench? Well, the intention is this year we have the depth to do it. So Coach Ben Johnson will be looking to that bench to include more minutes for players and get guys the right rest and everything like that. So we'll see if it actually happens, but it is an intention of Coach Johnson for this upcoming season, with the talent and the depth that they have from the transfers they brought in, from Enan and Parker both being back and healthy, and from some of these young players like Cam Christie and Caden Betts that have showed they can get ready and be ready to contribute in this upcoming season. Now, Coach Johnson also consistently mentioned how Cam Christie is not your typical freshman. So we could potentially see a healthy amount of him early in this season, especially in the non-conference season. And when I asked Pharrel, Payne, and Dawson Garcia what were their thoughts, what do they see from Cam Christie in these early stages after what we've heard from Coach Ben Johnson, both of them mentioned how he is absolutely dangerous with his pull-up jumper. His pull-up jumper is the real deal. So get ready to see something from Cam Christie and that special pull-up jumper in this upcoming season, because it seems like the freshman, true freshman at that, is getting touted a lot by his fellow players and head coach. Now, when I was asking about this offense overall, and when we were hearing more from Coach Johnson, we learned that this team wants to play a lot faster. They want to get the ball moving. And we had mentioned that again on our preview 2 weeks ago, but it is nice to see that that is an emphasis for this program and for this team in specific. Both of those elements of observations, as far as post touches and moving the ball fast and playing at a faster pace, is something that we had on this show 2 weeks ago. So if you want to be tapped in for these thoughts, for how this season could go and so much more, be sure to hit subscribe over on YouTube so you're not missing it out. But along with that, a couple other things that Coach Ben Johnson talked about with these players is that they were really seeking a veteran presence from the transfer portal when they were going in with these point guards, but also the fact that they have multiple years of eligibility left. So that way they can continue building this program and continue growing and having more depth and more returners coming the next season, but also guys that can be scrappy, also guys that can distribute the ball and keep this thing moving. So overall, they got what they were looking for. And on top of that, Coach Ben Johnson mentioned that he wanted someone who's done some winning at every level. And he talked about how Elijah Hawkins has done just that at the high school level, even in college, winning with the Howard Bison and then getting to the NCAA tournament. Just the experience of knowing what it takes and helping continue to help or rub that off on the rest of the team and show what it takes to get there. Those elements were very important when making these transfer additions. Now, he talked about Josh Joseph, and I asked him about Josh as a shooter because Josh showed his versatility. He showed his athleticism. He showed he could be a very capable defender. Heck, he was even guarding Zach Edey for a lot of their game against Purdue here in Dinkytown. But the biggest thing we saw is players started to play off of him a little bit because he's very lethal when cutting to the basket. But when it comes to shooting, it just seemed like the confidence wasn't there. So I asked Ben Johnson how his growth as a shooter has taken place over the summer. And he said, honestly, it has been phenomenal. He is a gym rat. He is in there and he understands that if he can add that to his game, it will take him so much further and it will be easier for him. So I'm very excited by the prospects of Josh Joseph. If he adds shooting to his arsenal, he could be a dangerous player in this Big Ten moving forward as he continues to get more immersed in it, as he continues to have more floor IQ. As the game slows down, Josh Joseph could be a very important two-way player for the Gophers. Now, when we talked to Pharrel Payne about what he's worked on this season, he talked about just having the knowledge, having the experience from the Big Ten last year. He knew he had to get to work and he had to get stronger and he had to put on weight and he had to get ready to take the physicality of it. And when Coach Ben Johnson talked to Pharrel Payne about it all, like we heard earlier, he mentioned that it's not going to get harder because you've experienced now. You know what it takes, and you're putting on the more muscle. You took on a Zach Edey, you took on a Stephen Krull, and right now you're going to be more prepared for it than you ever could have been as a freshman. So there's a lot of expectations of leaps and improvements from this team and from this squad moving forward. I'm excited to see if it all can come to fruition. And then the biggest thing that we learned from Dawson Garcia is not only him being more comfortable and this being his first year with having the same head coach in back-to-back seasons, but that he is way more comfortable being more vocal as a leader. And you could see that from the first practice we were allowed to come and watch as the media. So I think it's going to be a big year for Dawson Garcia. I think we could see huge strides from those three sophomores. And then it all comes down to how well the transfer additions and the new young players gel in with this team. Parker Fox, Isaiah Enan, excited to have them back. Sounds like Parker Fox has his bounce back for sure. Dawson Garcia talked about how he just kind of forgot how athletic and how explosive he was, but then he went up and two-hand grabbed a ball off the backboard and jammed it in head above the rim. That is the athleticism that we have all been excited about for many years, and I'm wishing them nothing but a healthy season moving forward. Now, the biggest thing for this Gophers defense, and the thing we're going to wrap this basketball piece up with, is defensively, this team could be burdensome for teams across the Big Ten, and especially in non-conference games with the length that it has on defense, the arm reach, the wingspan of a lot of these players. You're talking about Isaiah Enan, massive wingspan. Pharrel Payne, massive wingspan. Dawson Garcia, massive wingspan. Jack Wilson, massive human. And then on top of that, you've got Cam Christie has length. Caden Betts has length. Josh Joseph has a big wingspan. This team is long. It's hopefully strong with all the work it's been putting in the offseason, and we'll see if it can be forcing tons of deflections, getting blocks, and swallowing up the lane. That should be the defensive presence of this team. Hopefully we see it in the upcoming season, but we will see if having the returners can help this team get back to a competitive squad in 2023-24, but the team should hopefully start strong with 12 of their first 14 games being played at the barn. Now, next, we're going to talk to a 2024 commit of the football team recruiting class, and that is Drake Lindsey, a quarterback from Arkansas. You're not going to want to miss our interview with him, and that's what's coming up next. First, I got to talk to you about our friends over at Jase Medical, because everyone should feel empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones, especially during the unexpected. With storms, shortages, pandemics, reliance on China, and supply chain issues, we need to be prepared now more than ever. The Jase case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use, and all it takes is to fill out a simple form online, and then in some cases hopping on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians. But you get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions, and this product is doctor-created and doctor recommended. So you can use it for any time that there's an emergency. If the government shuts down, if we have a pandemic again, or hopefully not, fingers crossed, but different emergency situations, you at least have these on hand for protection, for safety in case of an infection or anything of the sort. All this can be yours by heading on over to jasemedical.com, and you can save more than $360 on getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code locked on at checkout at jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm host Kane Rob, and today we are joined by 2024 commit Drake Lindsey, Arkansas quarterback who has been absolutely tearing it up down there in Arkansas. 2,002 pass yards, 27 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 65% completion rate. Now, how is it going, man? How has senior year been feeling for you this year?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been going by super fast. It's really a blur. Each year goes by faster and faster, and I'm sure you know that too. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it, trying to soak it all in. I have a big game this Friday against Bentonville. We're 6-0 and they're 4-2, but they're a really good team. And yeah, I'm just trying to soak it all in. It's been super fun, enjoying it with my teammates and all my coaches. And it's just you can't take it for granted, especially your senior year. So just trying to take it all in.
Absolutely. It flies by and you're learning that firsthand, but I do want to let you reminisce a little bit. So in your career thus far on the field, throughout your entire time playing football, what is one memory, one moment that has been your favorite so far as a quarterback?
Probably two games ago against Rogers. We lost them last year on a game-winning field goal. And they're a good team. We won this year it was a thriller. It was a shootout. We won 47-42. And the last drive, there was about 4 minutes left. We're down 38-42. And we're driving down. I get hit late out of bounds on a first down run and get plus 15. And it's like 3rd and 5, and I'm rolling right. And I give one of our guys a 50-50 ball, and he catches it. And that game was just awesome because, I could not lose those guys again for the second year in a row. And yeah, that one definitely was the best so far.
I love it. You had a little extra fire. You couldn't go down twice in a row. I love that. I love that 100%. So when it came to your recruiting and looking at schools and whatnot, what were you looking for as far as schools and play style, and what made Minnesota feel like the right fit for you?
Really recruiting wise, when I was going through it, I didn't get all the looks that I thought I should have got. I really was just trying to go to school. I wanted to go to a Power 5 school, and I wanted to go to a school that just gave me the best opportunity to play early. And Minnesota, I feel like I have a good shot at that. And just all the coaches there, Coach Harbaugh, Coach Simon, Coach Fleck, they all just are great people. And they do a lot more for you than just football, and the life aspect and their life program. I just feel like there's not a lot of programs like Minnesota and just all the aspects besides football.
Awesome. And when you were able to take your visit, who was your host? And then also, what was your favorite part about the visit when you were able to come to Minnesota?
Yeah, so Ethan was my host, Ethan Kaliak-Manis. He was a really good dude. We bonded a lot. He's a great guy. Just how he is as a person is just unreal. He's a great person. And my favorite thing on the official visit was probably we went out to the lake, and it was super fun. We got on Coach Fleck's boat, drove around the lake, and just had fun out there with all. There was probably like 12 to 15 guys on the OB, and like 10 of us were committed. So it was a good time just bonding with all the commits.
Oh, for sure. I've been hearing a lot about this 2024 commit group and the group chat that you guys have. And Brett Carroll was telling me, like, sometimes that group chat is going off way later than I expected to go off. So it's cool that you guys are really bonding and taking a liking to each other. Who would you say you naturally just kind of been hitting it off with within those 2024 commits?
Probably the most, like Corey, Jaden, and Coy Perch is awesome. He's hilarious. And then probably Jacob Simpson.
Awesome.
Yep.
Love to hear it. So, in your own words, looking at your game from junior year to senior year, what would you say has been your most improved areas that you've seen from yourself from junior year to senior year?
Yeah, I'd probably just say like my quickness. I've gained like 25 pounds since last year. I've gotten a lot bigger, but also just like I feel like if you watch my film from last year and this year, like my drops are way quicker. Just getting out of the pocket, I look a lot faster, more mobile, and that's probably the most. My deep ball accuracy was really good last year too. My arm's definitely gotten stronger since last year, but I mean that you only have to throw it that far if it's an extended play or usually because most of the stuff's timing, so you usually don't have to
For
throw it
sure.
as hard as you can.
For sure. Also, just give the fans a little bit, even at the high school level, how big is it, the mental aspect of playing the quarterback and understanding and being able to read the field? How much have you seen yourself grow in that area as well?
A lot. Because sophomore year, I was kind of clueless. I feel like I was just you're kind of trying to figure it out. You don't know what you're really doing yet. Junior year, I took a big step. Because it was the same offense. Our offense coordinator came in sophomore year, so I was learning a whole new offense sophomore year and trying to learn that. And then junior year, I understood it pretty well. All the timing, all the routes. We have a lot of timing routes. Everything's like on your drop, you need to hit it at this time. Like everything's pretty much timing. So and then my jump to this year was big too because I did a lot of which doesn't really matter much, but I did a lot of 7-on-7 travel stuff this off season, and just doing that with like really good football players. Straight like 4 stars, 5 stars commits, and obviously it's not as serious as a real football game, but just playing with that kind of speed helps you a lot. Because it's a lot different than just playing high school football at points because it's just everyone's freak athletes. But yeah, I've definitely had a big jump this year with all the reads and stuff, because before the play last year, I wouldn't know exactly what coverage it was all the time. And this year I've taken a big jump with like right when the ball snapped, I have a good feel of what coverage they're running.
For sure. And that seems to be showing in your numbers as well. It kind of speaks for itself. And like you mentioned, 7-on-7, even though it might not be as much contact and things, I feel like there's a lot more anticipation because basically everyone knows you're likely going to have to pass the ball because that's what you do in 7-on-7. So it helps you build that anticipation a lot. But let's move away from the football aspect. Let's let Gophers get to know you a little bit off the field. So are there any nicknames that you have that you've enjoyed and want to continue at the next level? Or are you just like, nope, I need a fresh start?
I mean, I don't really necessarily care, but I mean, everyone kind of calls me Draco or Drizzy kind of as a joke just because it kind of goes. But no, I mean, I don't really care about all that stuff. I mean, it's whatever people want to come up with, honestly.
For sure. All right. So then let's turn it to your hometown. What is your favorite thing about your hometown?
Probably just like, I don't know, probably like in the summer. I like the summer here. Even though all summers are about the same, like the heat and everything. But I really just like going out on the golf course, like in the summer, playing with all my buddies, like after practice and all that stuff. We'd always usually go out there and do like 2v2 scrambles and stuff. And I really enjoyed that part. That's probably one of my favorite things to do is besides football is golf. I'm a big golfer, so I like going out on the course and hitting the ball and trying to get into that cup. So that's what I like to do also.
I can respect that. I've gotten into the golf game recently myself, and I feel like it's the most satisfying and the most frustrating thing all at once.
Oh my God. Yeah, so frustrating for sure.
Yes. But how about any hobbies outside of football? What do you like to do away from the sport?
I like to fish. In the off season, I work out a good amount. Not really right now because my shoulder and stuff, so it's kind of hard to do as much upper body. But fish. Not really play basketball, but sometimes go shoot around. Kind of just do stuff like that. That's pretty much it. I'm kind of just golf and fish sometimes.
So far, every 24 and 23 commit that I've talked to from this Minnesota program has loved fishing. I feel like we got to get some event going here soon, maybe some summer or something with Gophers players and fishing. It seems to be a trend, but I'm going to move it to NFL. Do you have a favorite team that you like to root for, or I guess what is your NFL squad?
Well, so I do. I'm actually a huge Vikings fan. My grandfather played for them from 1965 to 72. He played at Arkansas before that, and he won a national championship there, and then played in the Super Bowl IV against the Chiefs. So I'm a big Vikings fan.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I love to hear that. And on
Yeah.
top of that, I do want to know, are there quarterbacks, maybe whether it's Kirk or not, but are there other quarterbacks that you like to watch and kind of watch and study or pick parts of their game to really see if you can incorporate things? Or I guess, who are the quarterbacks that you find your eyes being drawn to the most?
I watch, well, not really this season as much, but definitely Joe Burrow, just like in the past couple of years, like his pocket presence, and like he tries to stand there as long as he can. And like I feel like he doesn't always, like he's not like gonna just run, but he can extend plays always when he has to. And he just always finds the guys that are open and makes great plays with his feet and with his arm.
For sure. Yeah. All right, so I got to ask you this. What is the go-to TV show or movie that like you could watch it a million times and never get sick of it?
Movie, Star Wars probably.
Okay.
And TV show, probably, I'm kind of a superhero guy, so probably like The Flash or something like that.
Awesome. I mean, that show, I haven't gotten through all of it, but I'd watched a few seasons, especially when it was first taken off, and it was addicting. Like it's a good show. So I feel you.
Yes, sir.
So then this is a fun question for you right here. So if you could have any NIL deal with any company or any product in the world that best represents you, what would it be?
Best represents me. I'd probably say, that's tough. Golly. So just represents me as a person?
Yeah, or if it's something you find yourself drawn to all the time, or if it's your favorite food spot, whatever it is. I know somebody earlier that I had interviewed, they said Qdoba was the spot for them if they could just get some meals and be a representative. So anything you can think of.
I'd probably say Kava then. Like if I'm gonna go food route, then probably Kava. Like I actually just had Kava. It's if you know what that is, it's kind of like Chipotle and stuff like that.
Okay.
So kind of like too.
Awesome. All right. So then I got to ask, what are you listening to, or what do you prefer to listen to, whether it be genre, artist, or whatever, pre-game to get your mind right and get you in the zone?
I mean, really rap. Like I listen to Lil Baby a lot. Like before games, definitely Lil Baby. Like Lil Baby's always gonna get me right. And then Dreams and My Nightmares is a song by Meek Mill. And really, yeah, a lot of Lil Baby, honestly.
Okay, I can get with that for sure. Now I got to ask you, favorite pregame or postgame meal? What's the go-to?
Pregame, I'd definitely say nothing crazy. Probably Chick-fil-A. Like probably like a little 8-count nugget meal. Nothing like too much on the stomach. And then postgame, I didn't really have a post-game meal Friday, to be honest. Like sometimes I'm not too hungry after games, but like I can't eat too much like after a game some reason. But like if I'm gonna eat, I'll probably go to like Kane's or like maybe some Taco Bell.
Okay. All right, now I got to ask you, who's your role model? Who has just had a huge impact on you, whether it be parents, coaches, or who do you look up to in that space?
Probably my coaches. My offense coordinator, Jay Wilkinson. I feel like when I didn't believe in myself, I feel like he believed in me. And he had a lot of confidence in what I could do sophomore year when I didn't have a lot of confidence in what I could do. So I feel like him, and he's super hard on me too, you know. All the little mistakes I make in games, he's going to get on me, like, pretty hard. So I appreciate that a lot because it shows me how much he cares. But, yeah, definitely him is a good one. He's super smart, great offense coordinator, and, yeah, he just always believed in me from the get-go.
Awesome. No, I love to hear that. All right, before we finish this up with Drake Lindsey, I need to talk to you about our friends over at Prize Picks, because if you like daily fantasy sports made easy, then boy, do I have the thing for you, because you can test your skills on Prize Picks this football season in the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. And on top of that, you have quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types to choose from. And that's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Simply press over or under on player yardage totals or touchdowns or baskets, depending on what sport you are choosing. And then other simple stat options are there for your choosing as well. And if you hit on multiple, you can win up to 25 times your money. I'm looking at the NFL this week, and Jalen Hurts has a 0.5 rushing touchdown line. So I'm smashing the over on that because I absolutely think he can find himself rushing into the end zone, especially with that lethal tush-push play that Philly runs, or what they like to call the brotherly shove. So I would definitely smash the over on that one. You pair that with a couple other stat lines, and you could be rolling in the big bucks. So go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code lockedoncollege for a first-time deposit match of up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code lockedoncollege. Now, I'm going to turn it back to football for these last 3 or 4 questions. But as you're about halfway, maybe a little bit past halfway in your senior season, what are some of the goals that you have as a team and then also individually to wrap up this year?
Yeah, definitely as a team win state. I think we have a really good chance this year. We're 6-0 so far. We have a big test Friday. And then after that, our conference schedule eases out. So really just win a state championship to end it off. And there's never been a team at my high school that's won a state championship and gone undefeated. So that would be pretty cool. And then individual, I want to be the Arkansas Gatorade Player of the Year. Last year I was in the running, but you kind of have to win state or be in that picture to get it. So
Gotcha.
Do that. Yeah, win Gatorade Player of the Year. That's my main one. And then just break some school records. I broke the single game passing record. And I'm kind of trying to go for that season one. So
for sure. Well, we'll be pulling for you here at Locked On Golden Gophers, and we'll be following along the way for sure. But I got to ask you, 5 is the number. What is the significance? What does the number 5 mean to you?
It's really just I feel like my first good year of football, I wore number 5. The first year I was 7th grade, I didn't think I was going to keep playing football. And then I ended up playing in 8th grade, and I thought 8th grade was going to be my last year. In 8th grade, I had my best football season, and I started liking it a lot. So then I carried it on to high school, and it just kind of stuck with me, that 5. But I don't know. We'll see what happens in college. I have some different options in mind. Maybe one other option, but I like 5 a lot.
Okay, you want to give any teasers to the Gophers listeners? What's in the back of your head? And maybe it doesn't work out, but what are you thinking?
I really like 2. I like the number 2. Just looking at watching quarterbacks, when I see Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders, just quarterbacks like that, I just feel like the number 2 kind of pops.
Okay. Well, hopefully you can get that number. That would be awesome. But I got 2 last ones to wrap it up for you. So what are some strengths that you think you bring to the field? What would you say your strengths are? But then also, what are you looking to improve as you wrap up your senior year?
I feel like my strengths are definitely my anticipation. I'm very relaxed on the field. Don't really stress out during the moments. I love big moments. My arm strength, my accuracy is definitely a big one. I feel like I'm very accurate with the football. Don't really put it in harm's way very much. I know when it's time to give up on the play, when it's a dead play. And the things I definitely think I can get better on are just getting on with my reads. Sometimes I can hang on a read just a little long. Knowing when to extend the play, and that's probably about it. I mean, obviously I can get stronger, faster, but yeah, those are the things during the game.
Right. No, I love to hear it. And I mean, self-acknowledgement is everything, because if you can see it now, you can push yourself to take it even further. So I love to hear it. But the final question I have, I'm giving you the floor. What do you want Gopher fans to know about you?
Just that I'm going to come to work, I want to bring something special to Minneapolis. No one else in my family has been there besides my grandfather, and I feel like I have a purpose there, and I feel like I'm meant to be there. So I just feel like we're going to do really special things with Coach Fleck and all the coaches there, and I feel like we're going to surprise a lot of people. So I'm just ready to come work and try to earn everything I can get.
I love to hear it. Well, thank you so much, Drake, for taking the time to visit with us here at Locked On Golden Gophers. Gophers fans, be sure to follow him on all the social platforms. Show love to your quarterback coming through in the 2024 class. But that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Rosebud Sky, my Go Gophers.
Yes,
and
sir.
don't
Go Gophers.
forget.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good one.